Let's promote African unity and economic cooperation. President Tinubu tells visiting Gabonese President Ngema.
We believe that it will be a good thing that the Nigerian companies come to Gabon and work and invest in the oil.
We have made significant strides in various sectors, and these achievements should fill us with great joy.
President Tinubu teases benefits of Nigeria's new tax regime to African financial experts. And Vice President Shettima rallies global community on climate change as Ethiopia launches Green Legacy Initiative.
That Nigeria stands with you.
Good evening, I'm Lami Ali. NTA Network News is on the air. And tonight we've got Adiola Komeakere with exclusive reports from Lagos. Maria Ado Zakari takes the business segment, and Badia Dele is with the action-packed sports highlights. Don't miss out on the latest news updates. Do watch us on nta.ng/live, on the go, NTA News Now on X, and on other social media handles displayed on the screen. Let's get started. After signing the tax harmonization and modernization bills into law, President Bola Tinubu has given an indication that the new law will take effect in the next 6 months to ease Nigeria into the new tax regime. The president gave the indication while addressing a meeting of African financial institutions. The State House correspondent, Ms. Martin Wahab, reports.
President Bola Tinubu and First Lady Oluremi attended the meeting, which recorded a high roll call of African leaders present and past. It was an opportunity for President Tinubu to update Nigerians and economic watchers on the progress of his social and economic reforms, which included the removal of subsidy on petroleum products and harmonization of exchange rates. He also highlighted his administration's efforts in the social sector, including the student loan scheme, credit facility, health and infrastructure renewal, among others.
The result of our efforts are clear and promising, providing a strong foundation for our future endeavors. We have made significant strides in various sectors, and these achievements should fill us with great joy for what it lies ahead. Inflation is easing, Naira is stabilizing, investors' confidence is recovering. Tax reform is also underway. It has been signed to law. We have 6 months of grace to get familiar with it.
Commending the leadership of Afrexim Bank under a Nigerian, Professor Benedict Orama, the president acknowledged that Nigeria has benefited immensely from the institution's programs lately.
Nigeria has proudly benefited from over $52 billion in support directed into energy, agriculture, infrastructure, manufacturing, healthcare, and creative industries. Flagship projects such as Dangote and Bua refineries, the African Medical Center of Excellence, and the African Quality Assurance Center embody confidence in Nigeria's future and Africa's potential.
The president, who underscored the significance of a pan-African settlement system, PASS, urged African countries to embrace the program.
Nigeria's collaboration with Afrexim is expanding in both scope and ambition. Together, we are launching the African Energy Bank, headquartered in Abuja, with $5 billion in initial capital to finance Africa's energy transition, leveraging gas, renewables, and clean technologies.
Proud of the achievements of Professor Orama on the continent through the financial institution, President Tinubu conferred a national honor of GCON on him. In Abuja, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
Now, President Bola Tinubu this Friday received his Gabonese counterpart, Brice Ngema. President Ngema, who is in Nigeria on an investment drive, paid a courtesy call on the Nigerian leader at the State House. The Gabonese president thanks President Tinubu for his solidarity and support to his country during the transitional period. President Ngema assumed the presidency after the removal of Ali Bongo in August 2023 and was later elected a presidential election and sworn in as president last month. Speaking to State House correspondent Musbah and Wahab afterwards, President Ngema says his mission now is to build the economy of his country.
Les affaires au Gabon en ce moment, ça marche.
Well, things are going very well in Gabon right now, and as I said to His Excellency President Bola Tinubu, we are for South-South cooperation, and we believe that it will be a good thing that the Nigerian companies come to Gabon and work and invest in the oil, manganese and mineral fields. As I said, those companies should come to Gabon and invest more. Things are going very well. Thank you.
Les entreprises nigérianes viennent s'installer à Libreville chez nous et commencer.
Thank you and congratulations.
President Bola Tinubu will depart Abuja on Saturday, June 28, 2025, on a two-nation visit to St. Lucia and Brazil. During the visit to St. Lucia, the President will address a special joint session of the Senate and House of Assembly and also hold a high-level working luncheon with the heads of governments of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. After St. Lucia, President Tinubu will proceed to Brazil to participate in the 17th BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro. The visit is expected to deepen Nigeria's engagements with Caribbean nations and strengthen South-South cooperation. Now, the political crisis in Rivers State leading to a state of emergency has been finally resolved. This followed a meeting between President Bola Tinubu with the suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his predecessor Nyesom Wike. The meeting at the late hours of Thursday night also had other political stakeholders from the state in attendance. The protracted Rivers political crisis manifested in division amongst members of the State House of Assembly, with a part at loggerheads with the state governor.
The glory that today is the 26th of June 2025, that peace has finally returned to the state. We all agreed to work together with the governor, and the governor also agreed to work together with all of us who are members of the same political family. Yes, just like humans, you have disagreements, and then you also have a time to also settle your disagreement, and that has been finally concluded today, and we have come to report to Mr. President that is what we have agreed. So for me, everything is over, and enjoy everybody who believe to work with us, to also work together with everybody. That there's no more acrimony, there's nothing to say we're disagreeing. We have all agreed on everything, so we thank God. For me, it's a day we have to thank Almighty God.
For me, it's very important that this day has come to be. What we need for the progress of Rivers State is peace. And by the special grace of God this night, with the help of Mr. President and the agreement of the leaders of the states, including our leader, peace has returned in Rivers State. We'll do everything within our power to make sure that we sustain it this time around.
President Tinubu had on March 18th this year declared a state of emergency in Rivers State for 6 months following political unrest, which the president said was already having negative impact on critical national assets. Now, Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on nations of the world to be decisive in combating climate change, saying it is a danger that must be arrested with practical actions. The Nigerian Vice President stated this during the official launch of Ethiopia's Green Legacy Initiative in Addis Ababa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
The Ethiopian Green Legacy Program, which is designed to combat deforestation, enhance biodiversity and mitigate the adverse effects of climate change, targets the planting of 20 billion tree seedlings over a 4-year period. Hosted by the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, the Democratic Republic of Ethiopia resolves to confront the threat posed by climate. Vice President Kashim Shettima says while the global threat is not one that can be resolved in a conference room, it requires each country to respond to the peculiarities of the ecological burdens confronting them.
I come here not only to share in your joy and to exchange ideas, but to convey the deep and abiding solidarity of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and the good people of Nigeria. We salute every visionary who has made this dream a reality, and we assure you that Nigeria stands with you in spirit, in purpose, and in resolve.
He implored nations to enhance their climate plans by doubling their adaptation and mitigation efforts.
Ethiopia and Nigeria are not just the two most populous countries in Africa. This distinction is not just statistical, it is existential. It means we have the largest stake in Africa's future. It means that more of our people are exposed to the perils of climate change. And it also means that we face the highest cost of inaction. This is why we are not mere spectators in this fight. We are partners, we are participants, and we are prepared to play our part to keep Africa green.
የግሪን ሌጋሲ እቅዳችንን ስናከናውን ኢትዮጵያ ለመጀመሪያ ጊዜ
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed called on African countries to make the green legacy a culture, adding that Ethiopia was proud of Nigeria and its bold move to embrace the green initiative. The Prime Minister called for partnership across African countries, stating that it was time to place less emphasis on foreign aid and begin to focus more on indigenous and homegrown domestic ideas and visions, expressing optimism that with the Ethiopia's hosting of the forthcoming United Nations Summit on Climate Change, the stage is set to achieve one of Ethiopia's biggest green revolution plans. Part of the visit, Vice President Kashim Shettima was guided through Ethiopia's Unity Park, Science Museum, and the Adwa Victory Memorial Museum, which showcases Ethiopia's historic and transformative trajectory. From Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Beyond making deals and charting a new way forward for Africa's economic prosperity, the Afreximbank annual meeting 2025 ongoing in Abuja also highlights a convergence of culture and commerce. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, while playing host to visiting African First Ladies on the sideline of the meeting, applauds the potential of arts to strengthen the bond of unity on the continent. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports.
Unique, beautiful and African. That is the welcome that African First Ladies from Malawi, Gabon and representatives from Egypt and Tanzania who are attending the Afreximbank Annual Meeting 2025 received on the margins of the meeting in Abuja. Their host, Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu, was more than proud to show them around one of Africa's foremost art galleries and Nigeria's national pride, Nika Art Gallery. There, 25,000 pieces of storytelling artworks and other creative tangible forms representing the soul of Africa are on ample display. From one row to the other, they take it all in, appreciating the fine details and crafted messages which call out to their essence. The cultural diversity of Nigeria also took the center stage at an exhibition show where the guests savour an African fashion parade interspersed with more cultural offerings. For the visiting first ladies, there is more, as Nigeria's first lady, playing a perfect host, led them on an excursion around Nigerian designer stores to sightsee and shop. Though relaxed, the crux of the reception is not so far removed from the main agenda of the Afreximbank annual general meeting.
Culture is the future gold. There's every connectivity. Afreximbank is a Pan-African bank, and Nigeria is known for culture. Africa is known for culture. So Afreximbank surely will support anything that will bring out the culture of Africa, and that's why we're here.
It's a business, but art is life and life is art. So anything you do with your hand, creativity. Actually, one of our artists is selling $3.4 million in US. That is the daughter of Dora. Whatever artist, if you support it, we can water it and it will be green all year round. I've been to 54 countries in Africa, and I'm happy to see them here instead of me going there. So, and we thank our First Lady, the woman of honor, who bring the honor to the art.
To mark their visit to Nigeria, the visiting First Ladies received art pieces and other items as souvenirs. In Abuja, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
Wife of the Vice President of Nigeria, Nana Shetima, has described Nigeria and Brazil as culturally connected nations, united by shared values and traditions despite the distance between them. She made the remark while receiving Maria Lucia Alckmin, the second lady of Brazil, who is in Nigeria, on an official visit with her husband. Charles Alpha reports.
Wife of the Brazilian Vice President Maria Lucia Alckmin, during her courtesy call on her Nigerian counterpart Nana Shetima, shared the story of her women-focused social initiative she launched in 2001 while her husband served as governor of Sao Paulo. The bread-making project, she said, has empowered over 100,000 underprivileged women across 17 Brazilian states, with plans to expand nationwide. Wife of the Nigerian Vice President Nana Shetima praised the initiative and highlighted cultural similarities between the two nations.
As usual, Brazil and Nigeria, we have so many things in common in terms of hospitality, in terms of how we love our culture. So truly, I think you're homecoming. And thank you so very much for the honor done to my country.
On the second day of the engagement, Nigeria-Brazilian second ladies visited Art Gallery, Kauri's initiative in Abuja, where wife of the Vice President of Nigeria and her visitors embarked on a cultural tour. The cultural tour was part of activities lined up for the visit. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
We're taking a short break now. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more news after these messages. Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, says the deployment of innovative technologies and leveraging strategic partnerships are critical to unlocking new value chains for localized industrialization across Nigeria. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of the Gavi Global Summit in Brussels, Belgium, where he met with global health leaders and investors, Professor Pate highlighted ongoing engagements with Zipline Africa, a United States-based drone logistics company already operating in parts of Nigeria. He explained that Zipline's technology, currently active in Bayelsa, Kaduna and other states, will be leveraged to expand the distribution of essential medicines, vaccines and blood products to the country's over 8,800 primary healthcare centers, especially in underserved communities.
also used the opportunity to engage with Zipline, but it's on the verge of expanding its footprints to work in partnership with Medipool, the presidential initiative to unlock the healthcare value chain, to expand the distribution of essential commodities using technologies.
We signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding with Zipline, to roll out drone technology in Nigeria to support the infrastructure development that we're doing in the healthcare sector.
Talk about how we can use logistics as a foundation for the marketplace in healthcare, how improved access to medicines reduces stockouts, which reduces missed opportunities to treat patients.
In line with ongoing reforms in the education sector, including strategic collaborations and recent memoranda of understanding between public and private stakeholders, the federal government is intensifying efforts to address long-standing challenges in the delivery of basic and secondary education. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has inaugurated a 14-member committee tasked with developing comprehensive guidelines for the implementation of public-private partnerships in the basic and secondary education subsectors. The initiative seeks to enhance access to quality education nationwide while ensuring value and efficiency in service delivery. The committee is expected to establish minimum benchmarks for PPP arrangements, ensuring alignment with national priorities and measurable benefits for both the Federal Ministry of Education and the wider federal government.
Bring private sector in. And we don't want to do it in a disorganized manner. That's why we're coming up, this committee will come up with clear guidelines, steps of what any agencies or parastatals and even the federal, the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Education will follow.
Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed, the committee has a 3-month deadline to submit reports for consideration. Now, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has held consumer complaints resolution meeting in Bauchi with the aim of enlightening customers on their rights and obligations. The meeting answers several questions regarding the electricity services based on tariff, which is being categorized as Band A and Band B. Abdullahi Aminu reports.
Issues of not having prepaid electricity meters, estimated billing process, and how the distribution companies are arriving at the methodology dominated discussions at this NERC meeting.
Why the high billing and then low supply? We went to the house. It was not prepaid meter and they have come to guide them. But the bill is still reading.
The meeting also deliberated on possible mechanisms of solving billing disputes between consumers and the electricity distribution companies.
Just to resolve customer complaints, and any complaint that they bring to the platform, we'll make sure that we resolve those complaints. And of course, those complaints that are technical in nature, because there are complaints that are technical and cannot be resolved on the spot. So for those complaints, we'll take those complaints back to the office in Abuja and would look at it as topmost priority. We'll follow up and make sure that those issues are fully resolved.
The customer can acquire its meter through the vendor, and we, as a DISCO, have responsibility to refund the customer through energy credits over time.
The stakeholders appreciated the efforts put in place to addressing the recent power shortage in some parts of the country. In Bauchi, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Yobe State government has keyed into federal government's initiative to provide electricity to unserved and underserved communities. A memorandum of understanding has been signed between the state government and the Rural Electrification Agency to catalyze renewable energy investments in the state. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
So we intend to ensure that
in continuation of engagement with state government and subnationals to leverage opportunities in the renewable energy subsector, the Rural Electrification Agency has engaged Yobe State government. From distributed access through renewable energy scale-up to EHAT, among other interventions by the federal government, Yobe State government expressed its willingness to explore the interventions, thereby improving access to electricity in the state.
Expectations are so high, and like I said, we have the political will, zeal, and commitment to push it through. The investors who are also willing to partner with us, we have already provided the enabling environment, and that will see us through by the grace of God.
Expectation is to see the private sector deploying $1.1 billion into the sector, based on also the public funding of about $1 billion that the federal government had already committed.
Under the Memorandum of Understanding signed, REA is expected to mobilize renewable energy developers to Yobe State with funding from donor partners, with the state expected to pay counterpart fund and provide enabling environment. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
The stories from Lagos are next, with Adeola Kome-Akiri as our guide. It's over to you, Adeola.
Thank you, Lami Ali. It's actually Hingino John Adams. Enlightening judges of National Industrial Court of Nigeria and members of the Investments and Securities Tribunal on the relevance of speedy dispensation of cases involving severance package of disengaged employees of failed banks and other related matters formed the focus of the 2025 sensitization seminar organized by the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, in Lagos. Amaka O.
The reimbursement of depositors' claims and protecting investors' assets in the event of a failed bank forms part of the core mandate of the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. This is with the objective to protect depositors' interests, restore investors' confidence, and mitigate against its far-reaching economic implications for a secure and stable financial system. The seminar has as its theme strengthening adjudication and depositors' confidence in the banking system. This fosters collaboration between the NDIC and the National Industrial Court of Nigeria and members of the Investments and Securities Tribunals.
Most times it's about their severance packages, it's about the termination of their employment, and these are the areas the industrial courts situated for. If a case is brought before the industrial court, a judge of the industrial court will be in a better position to know and defer to the acts or the laws establishing NDIC.
The mandate of the Investment and Securities Tribunal, first and foremost, is to expeditiously dispose of all capital market disputes within 90 days.
Paper presentations delved into the Investments and Securities Tribunal's jurisdiction and depositor protection, challenges and opportunities.
One of the areas of consensus is the need to fast track and to make sure that investment disputes do not linger. Otherwise, it will discourage investors.
Further insights were made on adjudicating employees' pensions and other terminal benefits claims in bank liquidation process. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Maria Ado-Zakari standing by with business news after this break.
Welcome back. Let's talk business. On day 3 of the ongoing Afrexim Bank annual meetings holding in Abuja, conversations centered on how Africa and the Caribbean nations, including Nigeria, can achieve economic prosperity. Nigeria's Aliko Dangote and Tony Elumelu, amongst their Caribbean business counterparts, are of the view that for Africa to rise, there is the need to accelerate the implementation of the AfCFTA, dismantling trade barriers to facilitate the free flow of goods and services across the continent, in addition to encouraging industries to produce for the continental market rather than just exporting raw materials.
So people should empower institutions like AfRESIM to enable them support other entrepreneurs. We need more entrepreneurs in Africa doing the kind of thing we and others are doing to help develop the country. Capital is the most important thing. And of course, the private sector, and this is what I say to my colleagues and friends in the private sector, we must not burn bridges. When you're supported by financial institutions like AfRESIM supported us, you must honor your obligation, you must pay.
A major push for Africa's economic integration took center stage on the sidelines of the AfREXIM Bank annual meetings, where key stakeholders deliberated on operationalizing the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, with the theme enhancing domestic capacities for optimizing the opportunities of AfCFTA for Africa's prosperity and mitigating the external threats to its implementation. The forum focused on unlocking Africa's full trade potential through stronger local industries and cross-border collaborations.
On our course to disburse more than $40 billion to support intra-African trade.
This forum is a platform for collaboration. Today we will start insights and chart strategies to strengthen institutions and regulatory frameworks, build resilient supply chains.
The equities market wrapped up the week on Friday bearish, extending the deep seen in the previous trading day as investors' wealth lost 491.84 billion naira, with market capitalization closing at 25.5 trillion naira. The market sentiment closed bearish. We have the volume at 625.7 million, deals at 21,800 deals. We have the deals were valued at 12.7 billion naira. Looking at the top losers, we have Ledger Internet at 8.03 million, Boa Cement at 95.4 billion. We have FTN Cocoa also at 3.33 losers. We have the top traders at Judicial Gold, and then we have Ella Lakes and Access Co. Those were the top losers and the gainers for the week. That's it for business. It's back to Lami now for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Maria, for the business updates. Now, 200,000 bags of fertilizer are up for grabs in Gombe State as farmers are going to be given it at 50% subsidy for the 2025 wet cropping season. Emmanuel Akila reports that Governor Muhammadu Inuwa, who flagged off the distribution and sale of the fertilizer once against diversion, as culprits would not escape penalty.
Agriculture employs not less than 80% of the population in Gombe State. Fertilizer, therefore, becomes a critical input in achieving bumper harvest, but the cost in recent years is getting out of the reach of peasant farmers.
I've directed the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry and cooperatives, security agencies, and civil society organizations to closely monitor the sales of fertilizer to the farmers so as to prevent against diversion.
The subsidized bulk of NPK goes for 27,000 naira only. Many farmers will take advantage of the fertilizer subsidy to expand their farms. With the current price of fertilizer in the market, the subsidy would enable farmers to increase the quantity they need.
To our teeming farmers and herders, I call on you to maintain the peaceful coexistence that we are known for.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security recognizes the crucial role the state government play in ensuring the provision of quality farm input to our teaming farmers.
As usual, the commodity will be shared among the 11 local government areas of the state for easy access by the farmers at the wards level. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Now, the United Nations World MSMEs Day is marked to spotlight the crucial role small businesses play in global developments, and Nigeria is not left out. This year's theme focuses on how MSMEs can drive sustainable growth and help end poverty amid rising global challenges. Here is Muplang Dakok with the reports.
Every 27th day of June, the world celebrates the resilience, innovation, and potential of micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs. In Nigeria, these enterprises form the backbone of the economy. Yet, the path to sustainability is with many challenges. The Director General of SMEDAN is aware that MSMEs are not looking for handouts but access to finance.
The government is doing a lot, and especially the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. When he came into office, the first thing he did was earmark the sum of 200 billion naira for enterprises in Nigeria.
For the expert, what Nigerian MSMEs need today is a shift in the ecosystem, as more needs to be done in investment and infrastructure.
We can begin to draw the attention of government to the issues of infrastructure deficit, where a situation where you have over 60% of these businesses not having enough power supply. Of course, the biggest one is also the financing gap.
As the world celebrates MSMEs Day, the consensus is that Nigeria, like other countries, must look beyond slogans to actions. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
Kaduna State government has committed 500 million naira into Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency to empower thousands of traders to grow their businesses, especially at the grassroots. This came to the fore during the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the state government and the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency in addressing rural-urban migration and security challenge.
I'm happy we are signing this very important MOU. We are more than ready at this moment. When I look at the figure today, we are contributing 500 million. I want to tell you, we can add the money now. Instead of the 500 million, we can sign this one now, but you can come back again to look at it, and we're willing to put in 2 billion naira. Because our people are ready now.
If you look at this data, Your Excellency, the top performing states, from my office, I can just see that one, I can see how the states are doing in terms of registration. From here, we can see that Kaduna State has the highest amount across the 36 states and the FCT. And it goes to say that, you know, they are not paying lip service to these things.
The governor said his administration is committed to empowering more traders and creating an enabling environment for small businesses to thrive while prioritizing financial literacy in driving success of the programs. Kano State government has reaffirmed its commitment to the Clean Nigeria Use the Toilet campaign, aiming to achieve 100% open defecation-free status in the shortest possible time. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf gave this indication during a certificate presentation ceremony on local government areas in the state that have successfully attained the status. Abdullahi Mustafa has the report.
This event is part of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation's collaboration with subnationals to pursue its goal in the water and sanitation sector. One of the key components is Clean Nigeria Use the Toilet campaign, which aims to end open defecation in Nigeria by the year 2030. Here, 26 of the 44 local government areas of Kano State are certified as open defecation free. The certification is expected to ensure the sustainability of the already attained position and a strategy to encourage others.
Our people have not only gained access to toilets, but more importantly, they have embraced behavioral change.
It also commends high-level advocacy
advocacy to religious leaders at the national level, recognizing their influence in driving behavioral changes.
To date, 148 local government areas have attained this status across the country, and with the Clean Nigeria Use the Toilet campaign, which is part of President Tinubu's renewed HOP agenda, the federal government hopes to end open defecation in Nigeria by the year 2030. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
More stories in just a moment after the break. Do stay tuned. Next are stories from the sporting world with Bade as our guide. It's over to you.
Let's begin with athletics, as Nigerian sprinter Alaba Akintola has set his sight on more stunning performances after clocking a new personal best of 20.23 seconds to win the men's 200 meters event in Malaga, Spain. The remarkable run broke his previous personal best from 2022 and officially makes him the fastest Nigerian man over 200 meters this year. Just moments before the dominant 200 meters win, Alaba had already impressed by finishing second in the 100 meters, setting a season's best of 10.17 seconds. And from athletics to football now, as grassroots sports talent development expert, Nureni Makonjuola has called for more selfless talent developers in the Nigerian sports setup. The Water FC boss was recently recognized as one of the 100 most influential progressive Nigerians by Progressive Media, described his recognition as a reward for his more than 3 decades of helping young talents hone their skills and creating pathways to stardom for them.
We have a unique future that is not common, and you know, in MK Sports, in Water FC, we teach, we nurture, and we direct, and we want to produce not ordinary somebody to do sport. We want to teach them what they call moral, and we want to produce a good leader that we.
Of course, Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadoze says she's determined to make her mark in the English Women's Super League after moving on a free transfer from Paris FC of France to Brighton and Hove Albion. The two-time CAF Goalkeeper of the Year will complete her move to the Seagulls on July the 1st, a day after the expiration of her contract with Paris FC.
So great. I'm really excited to join this great club, win trophies, win games. Most importantly, to help the team achieve great things.
Finally, attention shifts to the round of 16 of the FIFA Club World Cup this Saturday, following the conclusion of the group phase. The first match of the day on Saturday will see Brazilian sides Palmeiras and Botafogo face off, while Benfica and Chelsea will face off in the other game. That does it on Sports Tonight. Let's now return to Lami.
Thank you, Badi. The death of Hajia Hawa Yusuf Funtua, a former staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, has occurred on Thursday, 26th of June in London after an illness. Hajia Hawa Yusuf died at the age of 58. She served as a news producer and a reporter covering many bits, culminating in her serving as the correspondent heading NTA Bureau in London, the United Kingdom. She is survived by her husband and 2 children. And now, here's a tribute to the late Hawa Yusuf Funtua. And that brings us to the end of the news for tonight. We thank you for being a part of it. Do have a good weekend. I am Lami Ali.